Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. I have a really exciting video for you today. This is a knife that I have been anticipating for almost a year and a half now. So we're taking a look at the Guardian Tactical Helix Nano. And this is their newest model, and it is going up it's in kind of pre-sale right now, and it'll probably be hitting their primary dealers in the next month, which I think are Blade HQ and Knife Center, if I recall correctly. But anyways, yeah, let's get into it. So ships with their kind of standard box, has their lifetime warranty card in there and so forth. But we're going to jump into the specs, overall impressions, details, normal format. So let's just do it. So this is obviously a smaller version of what is probably their flagship model, the Helix. And I did have the larger model for probably a year and a half. Unfortunately, I no longer have it. It would have been great for a comparison, but alas, I cannot keep them all and continue to bring you guys new content, so that one was sold just a few months back. I had it for quite a long time. I also had the auto version, which I believe was the same exact size as this model, but I was really looking forward to the manual version. And just out of the blue, they hit me up and they said, hey, we're finally doing it. I was like, yes, I will definitely buy one. So yeah, let's get into it then. So blade length on this particular one is 3.25 inches. Handle length is about 4.5 inches, including the skull crusher here, giving us an overall of about 7.75 inches from tip to butt. The handle thickness on this particular one, it varies because the handles are essentially contoured, I suppose. But it goes from like 0.48 down at the edge all the way up to like 0.58 down to 0.48. So I'll talk about it a little bit later, but it certainly fills the hand well, very comfortable, does not carry like a thick knife at all. Weight, 3.8 ounces, so under the 4 ounce mark there. And this is a well, it's obviously a flipper, carbon fiber handles, and this uses a sub liner lock, which is a really interesting lock mechanism. I'll talk about that in detail a little bit later. But as far as specs go, I guess that's pretty much it. All the hardware on this is stainless steel, pivot, backspacer, pocket clip, screws, and yeah, I think that's it for kind of the specs there. Overall impressions, again, this is a knife that I had anticipated for quite a long time. I love the big version, but it was a little bit larger, and so it didn't work with all attire. This one is, I think 3.25 is like the perfect size for like a small EDC that still is very capable. So my preference essentially goes from 3.25 up to 3.75. Those are kind of my ideals blade lengths, but yeah, really happy. It not only met my expectations, but certainly surpassed them with this particular knife. So exceptionally well done. Really excited for this one. Guardian Tactical, it's a brand that I'm quite fond of. They are under the radar as most knife companies go. They are American made, and I think the fact that they're under the radar is because they don't do the best job with social media. So I've got on them about that a little bit. They do have an Instagram now, but yeah, really cool brand, American made, a little bit under the radar, awesome offerings, excellent fit and finish. But yeah, so I think that kind of covers my overall impressions. Really happy with the knife. Let's get into the specifics on this particular one then. So just by way of reference, the full-size Helix is 3.75 as opposed to 3.25. Overall length on the full size is like 9 inches as opposed to this 7.75 inches. So another 1.25 inches longer. And then the full-size one does weigh in at 5.9 ounces, whereas this one's like 3.8-ish. So those are the, I guess, the differences. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the full-size Helix and then the Deltrix. They also have an Elixis, I think. I probably butchered that name. But yeah. So As far as the specifics go, let me just highlight a few other differences between this and the full-size one. One of the most interesting is probably that it uses a sub-liner lock in lieu of the sub-frame lock. So the sub-frame lock, basically it was a titanium frame lock with a stainless steel lock insert and had a piece of G10 or carbon fiber, whatever the handle material was, over the top of the sub-frame lock. So it did tie it in well, made it look nice. But this one, as a sub-liner lock, same functionality, but you don't have to worry about like pushing down on it at all. And for smaller knives, that's actually a benefit. I did do a review of the ZT0450, the small Sinkovich, and that was one of those things you had to keep your hand off the frame lock, but with a sub-liner lock, you don't have to worry about that. So if you have big hands, you can, manhandle it, and it still flips just fine. Anyhow, this one does incorporate a stronger detent than the previous Helix, so you actually get better flipping action. It does also have kind of the newer style pivot. Some of the, some of the newest built full-size Deltrix and Helix also have the style pivot, but mine, which was one of the first Helix out there, I believe, it had an older style pivot. So anyways, also the older or the full-size one has I believe there's stainless steel liners that come up to the top here, and then the thumb stud actually make contact with the liners to function as the stop in the open position. This one uses a standardized stop pin, so no more stainless steel liners coming all the way up to the top for the thumb studs essentially. So those are some of the key differences, aside from obviously the size and the weight, between this newer Helix Nano and the full-size Helix. Alright, so this particular one is done in the two-tone finish. This is a Cerakote essentially, and as far as their first offerings of this knife, they'll be in carbon fiber with the two-tone, or a bead blast, or a stonewash. Some of the other finishes that they do are a full like Cerakote, so you have a blacked out blade. They also do like a black wash, which is a full Cerakote that's then stonewash to give it kind of a worn-in look. Those finishes will probably be coming later, but I think it's just the initial three I mentioned for now. So you can see the Cerakote finish up here in these grooves. Primarily an aesthetic feature, but it actually does work functionally too. So if you guys are familiar with like the middle finger Spidey flick, you can do that using kind of this middle cutout here. So pretty cool. Just another way to open the knife, aside from, of course, the flipper. Let me see if it'll focus. So pretty low profile, nice jimping. Works really well to deploy the knife, and this thing is quite smooth. So flipping action is really good. Flips really well. And then these ceramic bearings are incredibly, incredibly smooth. So the blades that are typically in the 3.25 inch range usually don't have enough weight to make the blade drop. So that's just kind of a testament to how smooth their ceramic bearings are. There's also the thumb studs, which work just as well. This knife deploys beautifully with all three methods: flipper, tab, thumb studs, and then using like this for the middle finger flick works really well. So it looks like they make contact with the carbon fiber. As with the previous, the full size they did, or they made contact with the stainless steel liners. This one they don't, they're just really, really close. But it uses the standard stop pin. So, yeah. There's some jimping up top, works really well, very functional, not sharp. Usable choil at the front. Blade grind is a flat grind on kind of the rear portion, and then the front portion. When I talked to Andy, kind of the main guy at Guardian Tactical, he said it's like a concave that transitions into a flat grind, or a hollow that transitions into a flat. Basically, it's ground essentially thinner here at the front than it is towards the back, so you get a little better slicing for. With the majority of what we do, light use, cutting things open, letters, packages, twine, boxes, you know. The flat grind works really well. If you need to do some heavier cutting, you can use the back here that's got a little bit more steel behind the edge. So yeah, beautifully sharp. The Cerakote finish has held up really well with some of the use that I've seen on these knives. So yeah. And then the black Cerakote, it's on the top as well. And then it's also down here on the choil, and it's on the flipper tab. So they basically just, I guess this is a satin. Yeah, they basically just satin the flats here, left the rest coated. So, all right, the handles, really nice machined carbon fiber. You do have these grooves here which do serve a functional purpose, aside from obviously the aesthetics, the design, attractive as well. So very comfortable in the hand. You do have kind of these large chamfers on the sides, and so what that does is that takes off some material, so it essentially gives it almost a contoured feel in the hand. So even though this is 3.25 inches, it feels like a larger knife in the hand, and it's more comfortable because of that shaping. So nice hand-feeling grip, very solid, feel like you have a lot of control. So really comfortable in the hand in this 3.25 inch size. And I do have, again, extra large hands, but there's the fit. Don't have any fingers hanging off there. Very comfortable. Have a nice kind of finger choil here too. And you can choke up, of course, for a closer grip. So yeah, now hardware. This is a proprietary pivot. I like it. It looks cool. Kind of reminds me of like the Death Star. And, you know, it ties into kind of an overall very almost futuristic look. I mean, the aesthetics of their knives are not for everyone. Like someone who's more into traditional looking knives probably wouldn't love the design language, but I certainly like it. Very futuristic, very, I guess, precision built, or specifically built for the purpose that it is. So tactical EDC style knives. I mean, Guardian Tactical, as the name would imply. So number 5 here, they do number all of their knives. Now, you're going to notice right off the bat, this is a proprietary pivot. You're probably not going to be able to adjust it, but disassembling the knife does void the warranty, so you usually wouldn't want to do that anyway. And I know there's some of you guys watching who absolutely hate when you cannot disassemble the knife. But in the year and a half that I had the full size, I never even had to adjust the pivot once. I think they use red Loctite or something of the sort, so you shouldn't really have to worry about it. And again, I really didn't have to do a thing to my full size. Never needed any adjustment, maintenance, anything. It, you know, it just performed and performed. Blade steel is CPM 154, and this one is dated as to when it was manufactured. So as far as the, I guess let's talk about the pricing. These carbon fiber ones are coming in at $339. Later on, they'll do the G10 and then the aluminum versions, and those will be coming in like at $259. So that's kind of the pricing as of October. What is today? Maybe, oh, today's November 1st. So November 2015. In the future, that'll likely change, but all right, so that's the hardware. Stainless steel back spacer, more jimping, does prove functional. Glass breaker / skull crusher / lanyard hole, works well. And, you know, being that this is stainless steel and lieu of titanium, you know, you probably feel more comfortable actually hitting something with it. Here's where the pocket clip rides. I do find that the depth of the pocket clip makes it really easy to extract. I'll put my middle finger here, then my thumb will come over and grab some of the texturing, and this thing goes in and out of the pocket, no problem. So pretty useful. Again, these cutouts are not just for aesthetics. So your thumb goes here when you flip, no slippage. All right, let's talk about the liner lock. So it's essentially, these two screws here hold in the liner lock. It's titanium. It goes all the way up, and then as you can see, it has a stainless steel overlay, I guess. Really nice transition between the titanium and the stainless steel there. Two screws to hold it in place, cut out so that you can get to it fairly easy, but I think this is actually a nice improvement over the subframe lock. It works really well, really easy to disengage, looks cool too, so, and it creates a stainless steel contact point for the blades, so you don't have any stick, any problems whatsoever. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this particular knife. Again, really happy with it. I've been anticipating this one for like a year and a half. Yeah, it's just a fantastic size for EDC. Not too big, not too small, just a great size. So really happy to have this one. They will be doing a mini Deltrix soon. That one's probably not slated till maybe later on in November. As well as the G10 and carbon fibers. So it's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.